All right, Lady Ada, what is this?
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Show and Tell. It's me, Lady Ada, with me, Mr. Lady Ada on camera control. We're broadcasting live from the Adafruit factory in downtown Manhattan. But enough about us. What you're here for is to see all of the cool cats and kittens in the maker community. Come by, show them what they're doing. We got a bunch of people from Adafruit, Digi-Key, and friends of ours from Open Hardware Association.
It's a whole collection of people.
It's a motley crew.
So let's start it off. So coming up soon, I've been talking about this on Ask an Engineer.
Yes.
And more.
For 10 years.
Well, no. Well, yeah, but this is this event is somewhat well, Michael will tell us how many years it's been doing it, but it's Open Hardware Month.
It is.
And hello, Michael Weinberg.
Hello.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, and what is October.
All right, so let me go last question first. October is Open Hardware Month, so that's super important. I am Michael Weinberg. I am, among other things, the president of the board of the Open Source Hardware Association, and so I want to tell everyone that October is Open Hardware Month, and it's a month to celebrate fun open hardware things. We were talking before the show. I don't know that there's like a classic thing you hang up for Open Hardware Month yet. But if you have ideas, let us know.
The Park board.
Yeah, right. This is like a real good opportunity.
Yeah.
There's like a whole universe of stuff happening for Open Hardware Month. I can talk about the exciting things, or I can wait a second. But I'm happy to jump in and tell you all the things. That are happening for Open
Hardware. Take a couple minutes and tell us everything that's going on, and then we're gonna keep going to the guests. I know for us, I'll tell you what we're doing real fast.
Yeah.
We're going to certify more open source hardware.
Yay.
Hey,
that's what we're going to do. And everyone else should too. But what else is going on?
So yeah, that is a great thing to do for Open Hardware Month, is to certify open source hardware. It's free and easy to show everyone that your hardware is open hardware. It meets the open hardware definition. The other exciting things that are happening for Open Hardware Month. First, we've just kicked off the board election season. So if you are interested in being a board member of the Open Source Hardware Association, or you know someone who would be an amazing board member of the Open Source Hardware Association, don't be shy. Go to the site. You have to self-nominate to prove that you want to do it. We really want some people to come in and do it. We've got a bunch of slots open. So think about being a board member. If you are interested in who is going to be a board member, but you don't think a board member is quite right for you, all of the Open Source Hardware Association members vote for the board members. So if you want to join the Open Source Hardware Association, you get to vote to decide who's on that board. We're also going to have a member meeting this month. So this is a great time to join OSHWA and get more involved. I have so many things that I have to look down at my list. The next thing is we just posted a job for a new community coordinator. So if you are someone who loves the open source hardware community and you want to be part of the bridge between OSHWA and the community and OSHWA and working back and forth and connecting everyone, also go to the OSHWA site, OSHWA.org. Check out that job description. It's a part-time job. You get to do all of the fun and important stuff we do at OSHWA. You'll be super connected. It's a great job for the right person. The last two things I want to mention is, in addition to certifying things, which is always fantastic, we also have people who are hosting either in person or virtually open hardware events this month for next month for Open Hardware Month. So if you go to the Open Hardware Month site, that's ohm.oshwa.org, you can check out some kits and some things you can do to host those events in your community, again, in person, virtually, whatever is safe and people are comfortable with. And then I want to tease something that we're not quite ready to roll out, but I want to mention it for Ask.
All right, breaking news.
Yeah, so I hope you're sitting down.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk in the open hardware community about FPGAs and what it means to do open FPGAs, and like, are FPGAs hardware? Are they software? What's going on? We've been talking to some people. We've been putting together some best practices, and we're going to be rolling those out for people in the next couple of weeks during Open Hardware Month. So keep your eye open for that if you are an FPGA super fan and you want to know about this. And of course,
there's more open tool chains.
Yeah, more stuff
for FPGAs. This is perfect timing. Like, we're actually starting to you can't buy FPGAs right now because there aren't any on planet Earth. But the minute they are all available again, a lot of people have been designing chips with ICE 40 and other open tool chains, and it would be so cool to have a top to bottom open source chip out there.
The other thing that's happened in the last few years is the expectations from customers, users, community is the thing they're using has open source components, open source files, open source tool chains, and I think we're going to continue to see more forms of advanced stuff. Like FPGAs are like, oh man, that's crazy. What are we going to do? But I think having the open source hardware community in particular, being able to know that like, oh, this is open, this is certified, these are the tool chains. It's not the NDA trialware thing. Like there's so many things in that world, kind of like back in the day when you would buy a dev board and it would be like $1,000 or it'd be really expensive and you had to use the proprietary commercial software. That's over. You couldn't even do that now. Now it's all about how do you get it into the hands of as many people, and usually that's open source hardware.
Yay! All right, well, thanks for coming by, Michael. It's good to see you.
Thanks so much. Good to see you too, and happy Open Hardware Month.
All right, you can come back any Wednesday in October if you want.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And speaking of open source hardware, I'm pretty sure Digi-Key is the biggest supplier of open source hardware components, open source hardware. I'm pretty sure they are. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but take it away, Kevin.
Well, I don't think you're wrong.
I don't think
we're
I'm
not
wrong.
only the largest supplier of it, we're also a huge supporter of open source hardware.
Aww.
Yeah.
We love the guys at the whole team at OSHWA. Anybody that creates open source hardware, it's amazing to be a part of the whole community and creating things that everybody loves. And how else would you learn technology without open source hardware?
I'll say this. This is some kudos, or sometimes we say hug report here at Adafruit. Out of all of the companies that are in like the Digi-Key universe, there's Era, there's Newark, there's Mauser and everything. Digi-Key is the one who first adopted working with open source hardware companies, getting them in their stores. And I think that's one of the things that has set them apart from others. Like Digi-Key is a go-to place for usually when someone's like, oh, I'm going to do open source hardware, where should I get a thing? And usually it's Digi-Key they say first. And I think that's because of the, not only just like the stocking of the stuff, but you're in the community too. So kudos to everyone at Digi-Key, including, marketing doesn't sometimes get credit for stuff, but the marketers at Digi-Key, I think were smart to see that was the way to get into engineers' heads. And it's like, oh, we have all the components and more.
It's really amazing the road that it's taken us down as a company and all of us on the teams as individuals as well. I mean, it's so much fun. It's rewarding. It's exciting. So
yeah. And then one last thing, because this is Open Hardware Month, and Kevin's here and Michael's here. So one other thing, when you buy stuff from Digi-Key or you buy stuff from Adafruit, often it's professional engineers, and you often want to turn it into a commercial application. Mm-hmm. You could do that with open source and open source software and hardware. You can't do that with other things.
Right.
And even to this day, some people will email us or ask or say something about like, oh, can I use this? Oh, I see you have a license. Oh, I see this on the Digi-Key side. I see it on the data sheet.
Open source hardware and software, by the way, has made an impact on the kind of tools that are available and the kind of licenses that are available. So when I started, and I'm not even that, I'm old, not that old. But, I started 15 years ago doing electronics. There's really common to have data sheets be under NDA, tool chains be under NDA. Code was not freely licensable. And I'm actually, when I now get chips and sensors, code is now on GitHub.
Yeah.
Like that. I remember the first time I saw, I think it was Bosch, they put code for one of their chips on GitHub, and I was shocked. It was shocking, right? It was like, It was like a llama skateboarding by your house. It's like, what's going on?
Ask companies like Digi-Key, oh, we want tons of people to use our thing. And Digi-Key is like, oh, here's this maker thing. Here's a show and tell. Here's this other stuff. So anyways.
It's good good for everybody. It's so cool to have freely, I'm seeing it, MIT BSD licensed source code for chips is now available. It makes it so much easier to collaborate with people. There's code that we can never release because the company, the firmware is not freely licensed. I can't share it. I can't have the community improve on it because it's under a restricted
and most of
license.
the time that's a dead end, and we try to steer away from that.
It's some old stuff. It's not a lot of new stuff.
But anyways, back to
Do you remember what the cost of an embedded design was 20 years ago?
It's like
Unreal. just to be able to do any kind of an embedded
That's what I was
design.
saying about
Yeah, I mean, your
dev
programmer is
boards.
$500.
Oh, at least.
$200. The chip, you'd have to get the EEPROM program, chip, and that was
Lockdown
$20 a
toolchain.
piece. Yeah, the toolchain only ran on Windows.
So
it didn't even run on Linux.
Yeah, it's amazing where everything has came, and thanks to Adafruit and the different companies that create.
You have to pay for compilers.
Hardware.
Kids these days, by the way, do not remember that. You used to have to pay for a compiler.
Yeah,
and it was like $800.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore.
Yep.
All right, so sorry that I derailed a little bit, Kevin.
No,
what else you got going on?
Open Source Hardware Month. So speaking of learning open source hardware, I did want to share a little bit on our back to school program that getting students interested into open source hardware and creating designs. Students can register and win cool prizes, share some a cool project or a cool design that you have. It doesn't have to be functioning. Just share something cool with us and get your name entered to win some cool prizes, which one of these prizes happens to be an open source hardware product.
Yay.
And
so cool.
You can enter open source hardware and win open source hardware.
I love it.
It's a circle of life.
Bot, you can get.
I dare you guys to create a better game than I have. A little fire truck.
Okay.
Hit the pause button.
Well, there's a siren outside, so I don't know if that counts.
That's the game.
That's the
Space Invaders of the
sound effects.
Make code's cool.
It is.
All right, everybody enter. Win free stuff.
Cool.
Thanks so much, Kevin. And can you drop that link in the chat after your
I absolutely can. I'll drop it in the chat, and it's digikey.com/back-to-school with the number 2. Back to school.
Back to school.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin.
All right,
and
thanks,
happy
Kevin.
Open Hardware Month.
All right. You guys take care.
All right.
Sweet.
All right.
Next up.
Hey, Trev.
Hey, Trev.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going? Trev, you were working on a cool app that some folks have seen, but some folks haven't. You want to talk about?
Sure, I'll show you it right now. Let me share my screen. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see us. I see us.
Cool. Sweet. Awesome. All right. So this is the PyLeap app. So it's a very simple app. Basically, what it does is it takes example code and libraries from the Adafruit Learn system. Then it transfers that same code and libraries to your device, and I'll show you it right now. Here we go.
All right, so you got a BlueFruit Express.
BlueFruit right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
And then should there be anything on your screen besides the show and tell thing, or is that your other monitor?
Other monitor.
Yeah. Or is there something that because we just see the show and tell screen with the little.
Really? Oh no! Whoa.
We're going in.
All right, let me try to.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, Trevor's gone.
That's how it is.
The app makes people teleport.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna hop over to.
You go to Brent. Okay.
I'm gonna go to Brent, and then we'll pop back over to Trevor afterwards.
Okay, Brent.
Hey, Brent.
I wanted Trevor to finish because I was entering the Digi-Key school thing.
We'll tell if we see Trevor pop in, we'll tell him to hang back for a minute.
No problem. Okay. So this past week, the Adafruit IO team and I have finished revealing and launching WipperSnapper to the public, which is awesome. So now you don't need an invite from me, and you can go straight to the Adafruit learning system.
To put the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, cool.
And it's under new guides, and we have a whole quick start for this. And you can also visit it by going to io.adafruit.com/whippersnapper. And for those who don't know what this is and don't know what I'm talking about, it's an interface for Adafruit IO, which is our Internet of Things service. And it makes any Wi-Fi capable board into an IoT device, and you don't have to program. So it's a no-code solution, and you can plug in your sensors, and you can plug in your actuators, and you can interact with your board from the internet. And we've been working on it for about a year. I think we started mid-September, started looking and researching it over last year, and then we started mid-September last year. So it's been a year, and it's finally out.
Yay!
All right. Well, we'll be showing a video on our show tonight and talking about this and more. So if folks want to try this out, what do they do?
They go to io.adafruit.com/whippersnapper.
All right, cool.
Okay, thanks, Brent.
All right, thank you so much, Brent.
Okay, next up, let's pop over to JP.
JP.
And show us some.
What's going on?
Hey, well, I'll tell you what. I've Can you hear me, first of all?
Yes.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh,
So I've been working with these cool little LEDs that we have that are wireless and batteryless, and they get their power transformed to them by an inductive coil. And I've added a set of lights to this little car of mine. So you'll see here, this is a kind of like a Matchbox car. It's an Auto Bianchi I must have gotten when I was a kid in Italy. And I've had it forever and ever, and it happens to be just the right size to do this, which is add some sweet, sweet lighting. No batteries, no wires, and you can see the lights will go off when I remove them from the range of the coil. It's hidden under this little mat here, which I'll reveal. A magician shouldn't reveal their tricks, but I've just done that. And so you can see here, you can even drive into the range of the coil. Let me boop, boop. And you'll see also, you might be able to see I've got some red and yellow lights in there to act like little...
that's actually really nice. I kind of like, what's interesting is I think, for people who do like miniature photography, this could be a really, because yes, you can tell it's a miniature because of the quality, but it's like the lighting doesn't look miniature.
For sure. Yeah, there's lots of gaps in there you can see through, so you're not fooling anyone with it, but it's really adorable, and it's kind of nice because it means you can add these. These are, we get 10 of these little LEDs in a pack. This is the small little 5-watt coil, or 5-volt coil. 5 watt, that would be awesome. And you can just stick them in your model and forget about it, and then set them onto the coil to light them up. But it's not like they're stuck in some lighting setup or whatever. They're just kind of part of the thing now. So I'm impressed with these, and I'm having fun trying them out in some different modeling environments and applications. And I'm also building a little display shelf thing that embeds a couple of the big coils so that you can do like a big Gundam model or some other thing that can display both from the bottom up and from the back as far as what angle the coil.
It's more cover everything.
I feel like this is a preview of like next year's Tesla keynote where they're like, we're just going to put coils everywhere.
I know this is pretty much a Tesla.
We're just going to put coils everywhere.
Sprinkle LEDs on it. It's really the most effective way. If you just need to cover something
everywhere,
LEDs.
Then we don't have to worry about power. Okay.
I feel
all right. Thanks so much,
Vivian. About to merge into a SPAC.
Yeah.
All right.
Coils,
thanks,
man.
JP.
All right.
And next up, let's go to Jeff and Jeff's kitten printer.
Oh. Yeah, so I was browsing Hackaday, as you do, and there was a project where somebody had written Arduino code to interface with these little thermal printers. And of course, it's a cat, so I had to pick that one. And I said, let's do a guide. So check out the guide on the Adafruit Learning System, and I've got some pre-rendered images, but we also walk you through
live demo.
So they are these lovely little dithered. Come on, we're gonna zoom in there.
Oh, so good.
little halftone images, if it would focus. Anyway, that's too much to ask, but you wanted the live demo, so I've prepared a special image just for tonight.
Yes.
This is not in the guide.
That's really fast.
Yeah.
I can't even print to a printer here.
I know. You should replace our printer with this thing.
Yeah. Next time I come back to New York, that's what we'll do.
That's cool.
That's amazing. So you just load up the file and then you can print it over Bluetooth.
Yeah, there are a couple of steps, but you put your files on the CircuitPy drive, and then you can select through them on the menu with the tiny print. You can see down there at the bottom, maybe it's changing the file name, and then just print whichever one you picked.
That is so fun.
Pick one up on, what a weird coincidence, it's the same image. You can check out the guide, and if you want one, pick one up. The printer is on, of course, that website, but the clue is on Adafruit.
And it'll work with any of our Bluetooth boards too, so.
I've only tested it with this one, and I had a frustrating experience trying to do it on Raspberry Pi, but it should work like on a Feather Sense or whichever other ones have Bluetooth.
Ironically, sometimes native Bluetooth works better because the Raspberry Pi does HCI over UART, and so it's like, it's great for like advertising, but then it's like I'm sending 300 kilobytes, and it's like I'm not going to do that.
Right? Yeah, I mean that's exactly how it was. It would just get a little ways, and then I'd get kernel errors, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to debug this today. I'm going to say this works on the Feather, and that's
it works surprisingly well.
I feel like they should have made the mouth thing underneath the eyes like a nose a little bit bigger, so it looks like the cat is just
vomiting.
like throwing up the prints. I feel like there was a missed opportunity there, but
yeah, I mean, there are a lot of
decorate it.
different cute shapes, so
Yeah.
maybe go check them out and find one that fits you better.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thanks so much.
Thanks,
That
Jeff.
was
All right, y'all
delightful.
have a good one.
Yeah.
And Jeff's cute cat.
All right. Next up,
All right, next up.
and Pedro.
Noe and Pedro.
What you got going on?
Hello.
Hey, what's up, folks? So we got our hands on the LED glasses. We wanted to 3D print a little frame. So this is a little three-piece frame that you just kind of snap together. It's got some screws. And I got Phil B's code, his demo code for the audio visualizer stuff. So I got that running right now. So folks want to 3D print one. This will fit any Feather compatible board. Just get some screws and some hex nuts, and you can attach it to one of these little arms. And for power, I just have this micro USB cable with this little lipstick battery. And what's really nice is I got these little nose pads because it was kind of roughing up my nose. Yeah. But let me go ahead and put them on now and see if I can fit it over my existing glasses.
Yes.
There we go. Maybe that fits.
Looking good.
Yeah, it kind of fits.
Looks
there
great.
We go. Maybe I can
nice.
get
You're
the
ready
headphones to keep it on there. Yeah, give me a beat, Pedro. So y'all can 3D print your own frame if you got a pair. And if you don't have a pair, sign up for when they're back in stock.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Very cool.
All right, folks.
Bye.
All right. Next up, Liz. What's going on, Liz?
Hello. How's it going?
Hello.
So this is the MIDI melody maker that I worked on with Noe last year. And I really wanted to interface it more with eurorack. So what we've got here is just a little dev board that takes a gate in signal. So I'll turn up the volume. And so now it's sending with CircuitPython the different signals. Still going through MIDI, so I'm using Sol to convert the MIDI messages to 1B occ, which is how notes get translated in eurorack. But I'm hoping to eventually make this whole thing like a eurorack thing. So this is kind of the first step in that. So I just broke out these pins from what had been the modulation pot. So.
Awesome. Yeah. It's always synth time at the Liz household.
Yes.
I love it. All right. Thanks, Liz.
All right. Thank you so much, Liz.
All right. Next up, Michael.
How's it going?
Welcome.
How are you?
Hello, Michael.
Hey,
what you got going on?
So I absolutely love 3D printing. And something I've been messing around with has been embedding magnets into the 3D prints.
That's fun.
To this camera here. And yeah, I'm using this translucent plastic so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I made this little thing last week just as a little test. And I have a whiteboard up here so you can see that it does indeed is magnetized. And the way it's working, the way I have it set up here in the slicer, at that specific layer, like I basically have a Boolean or like a little hole basically in there. And I just have it so it will want to switch the filament. So it basically pauses the print. And then I just put a dab of super glue in there and then press like these tiny little magnets in there that I got from Digi-Key. And yeah, so basically that's how you can get embedded magnets in a print. So yeah.
All right.
I think it's cool. I love it when people, it's like you get a tool and then you're like, how can I do things that it wasn't really meant to do? Like I always love, running a tool and stopping it at a time and then changing something around and then running it again. And I used to do that with like my laser writer.
Yeah.
That was super fun.
I was thinking about magnets and how you can embed them and things, but then you have to figure out where they are. And we have this magnetic paper. It's this.
Yeah.
And you put it, we tested it with like an iPad. Oh, look, here's where all the magnets are inside of the back of an iPad.
Yeah, that's super fun.
That's
all right,
cool.
well, it looks great. I
Michael.
love that you're pushing the tooling to the next step.
That's right.
Thanks.
Nice work.
Okay, take care.
Good to see you. All right, I think that's
that's our show.
Okay.
We finished right on time. Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
That's Show and Tell. We do this every single week at 7:30 p.m. Next week, JP is hosting, and then we'll see if we're hosting next week. We're trying to alternate because Wednesdays have been really busy recently. So we'll see everybody.
every day's been really busy.
Yeah, we'll see everybody next week in some way, shape, or form for Show and Tell, and in a couple minutes, Ask an Engineer.
Thanks, everybody. See you in 5 minutes.